What is going on, everybody? We are back with the Get In Losers We're Doing Movie Brackets show. We are finally on to the main bracket after completing our wild card round. And we've got some new guests today that I'm very excited to bring on.
We do. Jesse and Lauren are not able to make it this week due to their moving. So we got some fantastic guests to replace them this week. So I think let's just start by bringing some of them in.
Yeah,
shall we?
Let's do it. Let's get this going.
In the dungeon, we have Alex and Mollie. How are you?
Hello.
Good. I see Jesse Swift in the chat.
Yeah,
I think he lied to you. He seems available.
Jesse, come on now. What are you doing?
How are you guys?
Good.
Doing good.
Glad to have you guys
We're
here.
a bottle of wine deep.
I'm glad that we immediately introduced them to the kind of professionalism that is this show, just right off the bat. Just technical issues all over the place. So this is going to be a fun one.
This is going to be great. We also have from POV, Brian. How are you?
Doing good. How are you guys?
I mean, you know, we're here. We're awake. I got about 3 hours of sleep, so we're having a good one today. Today's going to be a good
Formula
one.
One last night was a great race, which meant we stayed up until 3 a.m. because it was a great race. So yeah.
So here we are, ready to do this.
All right. We are also joined, as always, by the amazing and quirky Mara. How are you?
I'm coming to you remotely from Los Angeles, sadly without cats, even though there are now going to be dogs on the show, and I'm incredibly upset, but also excited because I love the dogs, all of the dogs.
I feel like we've had at least one cat feature on every stream, and I feel like this is the first one we've missed.
Well, we've had at least one animal, at least. That's the. So that's
we'll keep that going at least. We'll keep that going.
We're also joined from Corruption, Mr. Adam Collins. How are you?
I'm back, and I realize that I'm wearing the same sweatshirt as the thumbnail, and that's a little embarrassing. But I there's a draft. There's a draft in New Hampshire tonight, so I needed to bundle up. I apologize. And you can get these wonderful sweatshirts on some kind of website. Skybound. That's the one, right, guys? Skybound?
Never heard of it.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, I'm happy to be back. And Mollie and Alex, we pulled out all the classics for you tonight. Just wait.
I saw some. There's going to be some difficult choices ahead.
Yeah, Alex is like, I'm sure there's like at least a dozen of these that you've watched in the past year alone. And Mollie's probably seen them too, and I cannot wait to hear your opinions. So let's go.
All right. We are, of course, also joined by the lovely Marisol. How are you?
I'm doing okay. You guys are having technical difficulties. I might be having animal difficulties over here. My stream is being crashed by my friend's dog. I am dog sitting. So she's about this close. Locked upstairs. Oh, now she laid down and she calmed down.
I'm sure she'll also have opinions on barbed wire.
Very well known. Very well made.
Marisol, what is puppy's name?
Her name is Oogway.
Yes. Cute. Excellent reference.
UEI. Yeah.
All right. Well, guys,
before we jump into this, I just want to show what this show can do to you with Jesse's comment from last week, where he's still in mourning a little bit. So it's gonna be all right, Jesse. It's gonna be okay.
Hail Satan.
Yeah, I think I just got a text from him saying, "Make sure to burn it to the ground."
Is any Mortal Kombat movie in the running tonight?
No.
Not tonight.
No, not tonight.
So we're just going to jump in? We're just going to do this?
The way this is going to work is I will be sitting out unless there is a tiebreaker or any issues that I need to jump in and sort. Otherwise, guys, let's begin with our first one. We have X-Men Apocalypse versus Sin City.
Easy.
Adam, I'm going to start off with you.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, my apologies. X-Men, Apocalypse, or Sin City? Well, not that tough for me. I had a lot of hopes when X-Men Apocalypse came out. And the thing about X-Men Apocalypse is it wasn't like an immediate letdown. It was way worse for me. It was very gradual as the movie went along. And that's why, I think it left a deeper wound. I don't think it's an unwatchable film by any means. But Sin City is something that I saw, later in my teens. So it caught me in formative years. And, I think it really kicked off, another trend of comic book movies, where we've seen a lot of imitations since. And I think the original Sin City holds up quite well. And I think X-Men Apocalypse is not aging that gracefully. Sin City's my pick.
All right. Mara, where are we going?
I have to agree with Adam on this one, even though X-Men Apocalypse has some really interesting things going on. Like, I love a good child murder. I'm going to say that like the stylized visuals of Sin City do 100% hold up. I don't need to say anything more. It's Sin City for me.
Ryan?
I'm sticking with Sin City. Jesse just said, you better pick Sin City in my text.
I love how you've become the proxy for Jesse. You don't just have your own opinion.
It feels like
Jesse texting you.
Yes. No, I told him if there's anything I haven't seen, I'm just going to go to you for this. But
That's fair. That is fair.
unfortunately for him, I have seen both of these. But Sin City, I am absolutely picking because this was like I want to say like my junior year when it came out, and was obsessed with this movie. I still have the DVD somewhere. I could go watch Sin City a lot more than I would want to watch X-Men Apocalypse. So, Sin City for me.
Tell.
Sure. I'm just not going to add too much to this because I feel like we're on a good roll right now with where we're going. I'm just going to say that X-Men Apocalypse wasted Oscar Isaac in the worst possible way, and that's why I'm upset at it. So we're going with Sin City.
All right. Alex?
Sin City, because I remember things about that movie, and I can tell you almost nothing about X-Men Apocalypse, which is not something an IG competitor should probably say. But,
No, it's okay. I second the motion. Motion passes.
I've seen it. I remember Oscar Isaac being in it at the start and technically through all of it, but it was like it could have been anyone. And Sin City, I think, is actually awesome. Again, I saw it my senior year, so yeah, it hit me in those formative years of like when you're kind of being a little bit of an edgelord, like, oh yeah, this is great. So I liked Sin City. What's that look for?
An edgelord.
Yeah.
Molly, where are you going?
I'm going to agree, Sin City. I had to Google real quick X-Men Apocalypse because I couldn't remember which one that was, but it was indeed one of the ones that I don't remember that well. So, yeah, Sin City's going to go ahead of that one. And, yeah, I liked the stylized, like, black and white thing that it had going on. Had a lot of good actors in it. Apocalypse, I don't know. There were people in that one. I saw it once. It was okay.
That is very fair. Marisol, Marisol, where are you going?
I got I'm not gonna rock the boat with this. This is really easy. It's absolutely Sin City. Sin City holds up. It has the style to boot. X-Men movies I feel fall into everybody has their different things, but mine fall into they're strictly like better X-Men movies and weaker ones and weak entries. I think it's one of those franchises where they get pretty far apart. There's not a lot in the middle. The entries are either pretty great or pretty weak. And Apocalypse is in the pretty weak pile. Sin City is gorgeous. I will still watch that movie. It's so dark and twisted in all the black-hearted ways, and it's great.
Edgelord.
Yeah.
You were edgy. We did it.
And with that, officially, X-Men Apocalypse has been eliminated. Sin City makes it through to the second round. All right. We have definitely another sweep coming up. We have Transformers The Last Night versus The Terminator. I'm just going to... This is the one that I'm going to vote in because I just need to say Transformers: The Last Night is without question the worst movie on this entire bracket. I hate this movie more than any other movie in this entire bracket, and I had no intention of putting it up against something that was just going to be absolutely demolish it, because you could have put it. But you know what? I'm glad.
You're glad to see it go?
I'm just glad that it's going to go, and if this survives, I'm going to cry. So here is your opportunity.
Can we do it just to mess with him? I'm
just
serious.
screw Jacob over.
Can we give
Brian,
Jacob
where
a
are you
brain
going?
aneurysm and just like put it through for no reason?
I
Tempting.
actually only watched The Last Night like 2 weeks ago for the first time. I
My
will say,
condolences.
yeah, ain't that the truth? I will say, as much as it left me just kind of wanting to see what nonsense they were going to pull off with Unicron being Earth, the Terminator definitely smushes this one quite a bit. So Terminator for me.
Adam?
Very presumptuous of you, sir. Very presumptuous indeed. You know, give The Last Night its due. It's the 5th movie, and Anthony Hopkins is in it, and Stanley Tucci is in it. The Terminator is, one of my favorite movies from that era. And personally, I would love to just see a Terminator fight Optimus Prime. I think he'd have a better shot than a lot of people realize. The Terminator, I'm going to let other people speak at length about it, because I'm sure we all have a lot to say, and I'm going to save my air for other movies. But I love the Terminator, and it should go through. But I kind of did want to punish Jacob too, but not enough to keep Last Night as a topic of conversation.
Mara?
I mean, part of me really, just because I want to be an agent of chaos, and I kind of want to do it, but I just can't. I mean, this Terminator's classic. Like, I mean, I'm sure at some point we might get into the Terminator versus T2 discussion, which is a great discussion to be had, because neither one of them are bad movies. They're both amazing. But the female character in Transformers: The Last Night is literally a plot device of, we need to have the guy fall in love with a girl. So even just on that reason alone, I'm going to choose the one that turned a helpless person into the person that helps save the future. I'm gonna pick the Terminator.
I kind of like this one. I really probably should have thought of like put something that was maybe somewhat bad on here, like against it, so that it's not a classic.
Yeah, but this was all random.
Yeah, I know.
So like,
but I could have. It could have been Schmodown random. Marisol?
Shots fired. I promised myself that I wouldn't spend any more time than I need to discussing goddamn Transformers movies tonight. So Terminator, it is a classic of the genre. It is mega influential. All the reasons that Mara said, it's night and day. Transformers, so much about the Transformers franchise is just embarrassing things that we wish we could undo and unsee, that set things back, set women back, and Terminator was the opposite of that in every way. The Terminator, 1,000%.
Mollie?
Well, I can't say that I've seen Transformers: The Last Night, but I have looked up trivia about it, and even that was painful. So I'm going to say the Terminator for sure.
Alex?
I could not bring myself to watch it to study for the Schmodown, but if I had known that there was a chance to just upset someone by trying to make an argument for why it was better than the Terminator, I would have watched it today. If only I'd known. But yeah, I haven't seen it. It sounds terrible. I've read the wiki, and the Terminator's amazing, and it's got Michael Biehn from The Mandalorian in it. So
From The Mandalorian.
that's going to be my goal, is to see if I can tie all of these back to Star Wars somehow.
Me and my boyfriend,
Oh,
Michael
great.
Biehn, one and the same.
6 degrees of separation from Star Wars edition.
Taylor?
Yeah. The Terminator. We literally did we make it through the last night? Did we actually?
No, we
finish
haven't.
it?
We've never actually finished.
Yeah,
it.
we didn't actually. We did it. I was like, I need to study Transformers, and then we got all the way to the last night, and I was like, I'm tapping out 20 minutes and I can't do it. So
I've seen it in theater. I saw it in theaters. Like I sat through the entire thing in theaters, and then we started to rewatch it like this literally a month ago, and
we just couldn't do it.
We
So
tapped
yep,
out.
I'm not sad to see it go whatsoever.
Oh, goodbye, Transformers: The Last Night. You have been eliminated, and I am not sad whatsoever. All right. Oh, great. Another Transformers. We have 300 Rise of an Empire versus Transformers Revenge of the Fallen.
You're really trying to get through them, aren't you?
This one's actually like, you guys could really upset me. So, Mara, let's start with you.
Okay, you're gonna hate me. I'm legitimately going to pick Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen. I'm not joking. I know that it is a much hated sequel, and I can't explain why to you. I don't think it's a good movie, but I enjoy watching it because I like the pain. It's like I'm a masochist for that film, and it's just not good. But I've probably seen that movie 25 times. Like, I can recite to you massive chunks of the movie. I'm not proud of this, but Rise of an Empire is kind of a little bit of a chore for me. I'm just like, Eva Green isn't working for me in it. I mean, she's super hot, but like, it just the character doesn't work for me other than eye candy. And I mean, I don't know. I love watching Shia LaBeouf like talking gibberish and use cake batter and cake icing to make the what are they called? Oh my gosh, the glyphs on the wall, and then kitten calendar. It's just, I like it. I'm picking Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen, and I'm gonna go kill myself.
Please don't.
Please don't.
We need you for the next
Marisol,
round.
where are you going?
This is, the reasons are going to start getting pretty batty really quickly if these are the choices. But Transformers Revenge of the Fallen is not in a series where I hate most of the films. It is towards the bottom, but it's not right at the bottom. It is pretty atrocious, and I would rather get a root canal than sit through it again. And when it comes to 300 Rise of the Empire, I don't think that movie's very, very good. I'm also in the camp that wasn't a big fan of the first one anyway. And I think the second one is worse. But when you start talking about the two movies that you don't really like that much at all, I got to think about like, well, what's the dumb things that I can enjoy in it? And one of the things that I do enjoy in movies, if a movie is terrible, the things that can distract me are really, really ridiculous sex scenes. And and that's a really distinguished list, and Showgirls is absolutely up there. I think we all know the scene I'm talking about. And 300 Rise of the Empire with, I guess, battle sex. I don't know if that's what you call it, but that's enough to push me to vote for 300 Rise of the Empire, just for the sheer entertainment alone, and a terrible movie of angry battle sex.
Fair. That is. I'm glad someone brought that scene up. Alex.
Oh, yeah, I
where you
remember.
Let's see. I haven't seen 300 Rise of an Empire, but I have seen Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen, which I think gives me enough information to know that 300 Rise of an Empire should move on. I'm also desperately trying to connect it back to Star Wars, and Lena Headey is in it, and she faced off against Emilia Clarke in Game of Thrones, who was in Solo, a later film that we'll be talking about. So there's that. Mm-hmm. Also, I have to put Alex the Great in the chat, asked who in Sin City was Star Wars. Benicio del Toro, Rosario Dawson, and Robert Rodriguez directed it, who is directing Book of Boba Fett. So I'm safe there too.
Yeah, you did it.
Well done, Alex.
Good association.
Brian, where are we going?
I actually like 300 Rise of an Empire, so that would be my pick. I actually despise Revenge of the Fallen. Yeah, that's my least favorite of the Transformers, shockingly. But so I'm going to go with 300 on this one.
Adam.
300 Angry Battle Sex doesn't get enough credit, I think. So that movie, no, it's not very good, but Eva Green does bring that element to a lot of her movies. Have you seen Dark Shadows, anybody?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she and Johnny Depp have a sex battle in that. It's more PG-13 than what we see in Rise of an Empire, but it's memorable in its own way. Revenge of the Fallen is one of the less offensive Transformers sequels for sure. It's
Really?
I think so. I think Revenge of the Fallen. I would rewatch that more than the following three for sure. But it is long. It is very long, and it started that to really lean into the digital noise. It was the first one that gave me a headache. So rewatching it is not something that comes easily for me. And Rise of an Empire is also a little bit brief, and they deep fry Xerxes and make him bald, which is kind of fun. So yeah, 300 Angry Battle Sex. That's
All right. Molly, where are you going?
I can't say with 100% certainty I've seen either of these.
You saw Revenge of the Fallen with me.
Okay. If you say so. I hear Angry Battle Sex and I go that direction.
Yes.
So I'm gonna
Yeah, we're watching 300 Rise of an Empire.
Yes.
Are you not? Like, are you not intrigued?
Pay the $3.99 on Amazon to just rent it. Don't wait.
Or like John Turturro in a thong. Like, what would you rather do? Like, that's about as sexy as Revenge of the Fallen gets. Sorry. Please make it happen. That's sorry.
Taylor?
You know what I will say for Revenge of the Fallen, though? It does have some good jokes in it that I remember now. About like my great-grandfather was the first Transformer, and he turned into a wheel, and he did so with honor. I like that.
Wheel, too.
That is a good line.
Okay, I am actually going to somewhat defend Revenge of the Fallen, which wow. So before we did this most recent rewatch, Revenge of the Fallen was one of my most hated movies of all time. And in the after doing the rewatch, I've kind of gone, actually, that might be the best of the 5 Transformers movies. Out of the Michael Bay ones, that might be the best one. I hate 1. I do not understand why people like 1. That one I will never understand. We will get to that when it's on one of the brackets. I have no idea which bracket it's on. But Revenge of the Fallen actually went, oh, okay, no, there's a lot of stuff in here that I actually do like, but it's not a good movie at all. And it's not Age of Extinction or The Last Night, which can only benefit it. So, because those movies are absolutely horrific.
So I haven't seen 300 Rise of an Empire. I have seen Revenge of the Fallen. Revenge of the Fallen is fine, but like what I'm hearing about Rise of an Empire, I'm almost tempted to just be like, on the merit of others, be like, okay. I mean, clearly I need to check it out now, obviously. So I don't really know where I'm going with this because I did not have a good time watching any of the Transformers movies we watched. So I just, yep. You know what? Agent of Chaos, 300.
Alrighty. With that, 300 makes it through, and Transformers Revenge of the Fallen has been eliminated. All right, we move on to Incredibles 2 versus Sin City, A Dame to Kill For.
This is just
Molly,
like
I'm
a
gonna
full
start.
gauntlet right now.
Ooh. I'm gonna go Incredibles 2 on this one. For no in particular reason, because I can't remember specifics of either of these movies. I'm such a great addition to this podcast, by the way.
I don't think we've seen Sin City 2.
I have very strong opinions about all movies. Yeah, I don't remember much from Sin City, A Dame to Kill For, so I know I saw Incredibles 2, and I'm pretty sure I liked it. So, that one.
Adam, where are you going?
More Eva Green. You're just running her and the Transformers through the blender, Jacob.
Apparently.
Give them their due. No, Sin City, A Dame to Kill For. This one I waited to see, so my expectations were lowered, which always kind of helps, not paying to see it and watching it on DVD at some point in the distant future. So that was kind of fun. But at the end of it, I didn't remember a whole lot. I think Eva Green behaves herself in this one, more or less. No, not really. I mean, isn't she the titular dame that everyone kills for?
Sure is.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes. Sorry to give that away. But Incredibles 2, I think that one's a little long in the tooth in terms of runtime for a Pixar movie for me, but I still think it's a quality feature, and I would vote for it over Sin City: A Dame to Kill For. Sorry to Josh Brolin.
Marisol. Oh, you're on mute.
I'm muted. This one's actually tough for me. Sorry. This is actually kind of tough. Really do enjoy first Incredibles. Incredibles 2 is decent. It's decent, but I think suffers from a sloppier screenplay, and a little bit not as clear. Not that the first one was mega plot heavy. The first one kind of meandered a little bit as well, but there was, I think, more to grip in the first one. And the second one, I won't beat a dead horse. I'm not as over the moon about the second Incredibles or many of the Pixar sequels, but this one in particular. And Sin City: A Dame to Kill For at least continued with the visual panache of the first one. But I still think it's inferior to the first one, but not by a huge amount, but definitely a step down. So this is both a case of inferior sequels to me. Just for good measure, though, I think if I have to choose between one or the other, I think which one follows in its successor's footsteps the best, and continues the story the best, I would have to go with Incredibles 2. I think that takes at least stays true, continues with the lore, and is at least more substantial, I guess, entertainment than Sin City: A Dame to Kill For. My reasonings are pretty weak here, but I got to stick with something, and that's what I'm going to go with in my mind. So Incredibles 2.
Brian.
I'm going to go Incredibles 2 out of sheer fear that Jill will come after me if I don't. No, I'm going to pick Incredibles 2 on this one. I saw Sin City so many times that the second one, like, it almost kind of like nothing could beat it. So it kind of probably hindered Sin City: A Dame to Kill For me. So Incredibles 2 for me.
Mara.
I guess this is pretty trivial, but I mean, and I actually don't mind Sin City: A Dame to Kill For. It's the kind of bad movie that I do like watching, but I like watching Jack fight a raccoon, so I'm going to pick Incredibles
2. That's fair. And Alex.
I have not seen Sin City: A Dame to Kill For. I have seen Incredibles 2, but I found it to be kind of forgettable. I agree with Marisol. I don't remember much about it. I don't think the villains were as strong. I'll pick it because I've seen it. Also, Michael Giacchino, composer for Rogue One, and but Joseph Gordon-Levitt was in A Dame to Kill For, and he voiced Slow and Low in The Last Jedi. So they both have their options.
All right, with
Yeah, I'm going. Look, I have the same sentiments. Incredibles 2 didn't really do much for me. I was hoping for a lot from it because I think the first Incredibles movie is great. I have a lot of fun with it. I recently rewatched Incredibles 2 for the first time in a while, and I still just kind of felt like it was fine. But I haven't seen A Dame to Kill For at this point, so I'm just gonna give this one.
All right. Incredibles 2 makes it through. Alrighty, that is the first quadrant done. We are on to our next one. We have Punisher Warzone versus Darkman. Mara, I'm going to let you start. And let me let you start.
Okay, I love the gratuitous violence of Punisher Warzone. I really do, but I love Darkman. I legitimately like the movie. I've watched it so many times. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. I know it's lower tier inner geekdom movies for a lot of IG players, but I really like it. It's just weird. And I swear, I think the sequel, The Return of Durant, should be eligible. I know that that's just my wishful thinking, but it's a good movie. I like it. The end.
All right. Alex.
This is tough. On one hand, you've got Liam Neeson. On the other hand, you've got Ray Stevenson, who voices a character in Star Wars Rebels, and you have Dominic West, who plays Naboo Guard number 4 in The Phantom Menace. But
I love this.
Yes.
This is my favorite skill.
Just keeping. This is amazing.
Star Wars.
this is
It's really.
but I really did like Darkman growing up. I haven't seen it since I was a kid. I remember thinking it was cool as a kid, and Punisher. Like, I'm not crazy about gratuitous violence, so I'm going to go for Darkman this time.
All right, Marisol.
I can't call myself a friend, an ally of Mike Kalinowski unless I pick Darkman. He would never forgive me. It's really that simple. I'm scared to say anything else. It's Darkman.
That's the best reason we've heard so far for any movie ever.
Mara, he looms.
He'll find me. Next session, he'll call Mollie Bob like, so. Marisol. Like I didn't.
Yeah. Tread lightly. I think Punisher Warzone is a lot of fun. I think it is an underrated Punisher movie. It's elegant in its brevity, and I think in its violence. If you have fun with that kind of comic book movie action, and I think within the context of the movie, it is fun. I also think Darkman is just fantastic, and I agree with Mara's assessment that the sequel should be eligible. And I'll take it a step further. I think Larry Drake, who plays that character, who also played a bad guy in a horror movie called Dr. Giggles, I think that movie should be eligible for IG because it got adapted into a comic book after the fact. But I still think we can work it in there. That's just my opinion. Dr. Giggles. Just look it up. It's a movie.
Just adding more movies to IG.
And I just want to see Jacob in the distant future tweet about Dr. Giggles. I really
That's
do.
fair.
But Darkman all the way. But Punisher Warzone's fun. If you haven't seen it, it's worth it.
And Brian.
This is one of those times I'm going to defer to my proxy because I haven't seen either of these. And I was told to pick Darkman, Liam Neeson, and Dark Cheese, to which I asked, dark cheese? And he said, it's dark, but cheesy. So I
thought that referred to his melting face.
Don't ask me. I don't know. I for a couple minutes thought that there was a dark cheese that was a part of it. So I guess Darkman on this
a tasty fondue sort of substance.
Don't ask me.
So I'm gonna just start texting Brian anything that I want pushed through.
Okay, yeah,
that sounds like something we can do.
I would prefer helos, but that's okay. I'll see.
Yeah, he has thoughts.
Mollie, where are you heading?
I have not seen either of these, so I was just looking at the cast members, and it looks like Julie Benz was in Punisher Warzone, and I love her. She was in Buffy. Wayne Knight? I mean, come on. Newman? Are you kidding me? So yeah, Punisher Warzone all the way.
Okay.
So on the one hand, I haven't seen Darkman. On the other hand, I don't like Punisher Warzone as a movie. So I'm having a real tough one here with this. Punisher Warzone, I'm sure, has its people who appreciate it. I just couldn't really get through it with the amount of gratuitous violence. It just wasn't my thing. And I enjoyed the movie I watched previous to it, the first Punisher, more. So it kind of just went downhill for me during the watch. So I don't really know what to do here, but just the fact that we got the phrase dark cheese kind of just makes me want to pick Darkman. So that's what I'm going to do.
All right. And with that, Darkman is through to the next round. If I forget anyone, please let me know before I move on.
He'll rotate and he'll forget someone at some point.
Yeah, it's going to happen at some point. It's happened every other episode. All right, we move on to our next one. Bulletproof Monk versus A History of Violence.
Where do you want to start?
Adam, I'm going to start with you. You look excited. Excited.
Does he?
Yeah. Bulletproof Monk. I owe that one a trip down memory lane. I really do. From what I recall, it's whimsical and 2000s. But A History of Violence was a movie that, when it came out, it generated a lot of word of mouth. And I sought it out. I was very impressed with it. I went and read the graphic novel afterwards. I was swept away by that. It's a movie I do revisit fairly often. And I just think it is just such a tight, well-paced movie that really captures the essence of the source material, and it's thrilling to watch. So A History of Violence, but Bulletproof Monk, I don't remember being upset by it, but I feel no compulsion to go back to it anytime soon either, other than for Schmodown reasons. Sorry, Bulletproof.
All right. Brian.
With this community and Ed Harris being in a movie, I'm afraid to pick anything that isn't the Ed Harris movie. So for that, I'm going with The History of Violence on this one.
There's so many boogeymen in the Schmodown.
I know. Everywhere you turn.
Marisol, where are you heading?
Yeah, Bulletproof Monk. I barely remember that movie. That is such a forgettable. I'm sorry, it's a forgettable early 2000s comic booky adaptation. There was like a summer where it was just like Shanghai Nights and Daredevil and like Bulletproof Monk. And I associated it closely with like Blade Trinity as well. Like there are all these just like punkish, like rock and roll kind of action movies, and just like with these like high concept like fantasy elements to them. This movie's quite forgettable. I don't even remember that much about it. I haven't seen it in years. History of Violence, on the other hand, is an absolutely fascinating, compelling character study. And the most fascinating aspect of it is the deterioration of marriage, you know, stacked against like finding out about somebody's past. Like most movies like that would just focus on like the violence and the intensity. Like for a movie about like called The History of Violence, it's more the violence is peppered throughout the whole thing. I love that about it, and it's really about, you know, how his family deteriorates when somebody's faced with their past. Absolutely compelling character study with awesome performances. This isn't fair. This matchup is not fair at all. History of Violence is actually a terrific film. Easily a History of Violence.
Alex.
I haven't seen Bulletproof Monk, but I also don't like History of Violence. So like I feel like if I saw Bulletproof Monk, that seems like the kind of movie I would enjoy more, but I haven't seen it. So I'm going to go with A History of Violence. I'm also struggling to find a connection between either of them, but A History of Violence has a diner in it, and so does Attack of the Clones.
Oh, that is strange.
All right, Alex. If Dexter Jetster had killed someone with a coffee pot, would you?
I bet he has. I bet yes.
I would want.
And he 100% has.
Okay.
That guy has a history of violence. So he and Viggo Mortensen are basically the same character. Thank you, Adam.
There you go. You're welcome.
Bara.
I really liked what Marisol was bringing into it. I like when movies of this ilk can kind of bring in legitimately heavy kinds of concepts, things that are real, even in these fantastical kinds of worlds. And every single person on the planet, even the Dalai Lama, has something in their past that they regret in some way, whether it's something huge and enormous and meaningful, like, oh, I don't know, I used to kill people, or like, man, I really wish I had helped that old lady across the street, or I don't know what, but anything in between. And the idea that you want to reinvent yourself, you want to change how you see yourself because you change how other people see you. I like that sort of stuff. And Bulletproof Monk is just a rewatch for IG that I'm neither thrilled by nor am I angered by. I'm just very it hits me with absolutely no emotions, positively or negatively, which I think is the biggest insult you can give a movie, is being just apathetic to its existence, because it has so little to give me that I can form no opinion of it. So yeah, I'm going to pick A History of Violence.
All right. Molly.
I also have not seen Bulletproof Monk, and what little I remember from A History of Violence, I think I saw it. This was a long time ago because it came out, our senior year.
03?
05. So we were graduating high school. And Viggo Mortensen is great. I like him. He wasn't in a Star Wars, but he was in a Lord of the Rings, which is close.
Yeah.
It's close. But I don't have any solid memories of either of these movies, to be completely honest. So, History of Violence.
All right.
Yeah, I'll just go with History of Violence at this point. I don't have anything meaningful to say about Bulletproof Monk to drag this out. So
Fair. All right, get those fuck yous ready, because this one is each side has one killer. This is this one.
Uh-oh.
Nah.
Okay.
Oh, I locked Dan Merle out of
easy.
our hotel. Hold on, I'll be back.
All right, Marisol, I'm going to start with you. Where are we going?
Okay. I'll kick it off proudly. I ain't scared. You have to do better than this, Jacob, because I'm not scared of this matchup at all.
Okay. I'm not scared. I can't say a word.
No, I just know I'll get a lot of flack for whatever I'm about to say. I don't care. Fight me. Winter Soldier is solid. It unfortunately reminds me. I think it's solid, and I think it pays homage to a lot of great paranoia thrillers, especially those from the 70s. And there's never a point where I would rather be watching Winter Soldier rather than, All the President's Men or a paranoia thriller from the 70s. But my real point is that Matrix is an all-time classic. It is one of the most influential films. I guess you could still say the 20th century. It counts because it's 1999. It is one of the most influential sci-fi films, not just sci-fi films, just films ever made. I firmly believe that. It is one of my personal favorites. I've watched it a gazillion times. It has not faded in relevance or potency or cutting edginess. Or visual effects. I think that all still holds up, and it still is a benchmark for big ideas matched with the visuals and the ambition and the scope to match. Matrix 1000%.
All right. Alex.
I don't think this is hard at all. The Matrix. I'm I'm going to bring Jesse into this, and we'll just pretend he's still part of the show, because he says Winter Soldier, and he says it's revolutionary. Is it? Or is it just a comic book movie take on all the spy and the Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy kind of movies? It's great. It's a lot of fun to watch. But The Matrix was actually revolutionary and actually changed cinema. And it's amazing. It was doing its own thing. It's not just a comic book spin on it. So The Matrix.
Brian.
Well, after that movie snob, I'm the quite opposite. I actually didn't see The Matrix until last year for the first time.
Brian,
my bad, Jesse.
But I thought it was okay. I mean, I have horrible taste though, so that's not. I'm very of simple mind. So that movie went really high and really far over me. I can follow Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and it's one of the best MCU movies in my opinion. And I feel like 10 years from now, it's still probably going to be one of the best MCU movies. So for that, I'm going with The Winter Soldier.
Molly.
So Captain America: Winter Soldier is a great movie, but it's a great MCU movie. Sorry.
Where's my
Matrix,
shame bell?
Matrix all the way
Dang.
on this one. Matrix was such a cool movie. 1999 was one of the best years for cinema. Everything about this movie is freaking cool. And I'm surprised that you didn't bring it up, so I'm going to bring it up.
Oh, I forgot.
Matt Duran is in this movie, and he plays Elon Sleaze Bogano. So, boom. Gotcha.
You high five me or what? Yeah, that was great.
Ara.
I actually like this matchup. This doesn't make me angry because I actually think it's fun when there are two movies that are just undeniably excellent in their own ways. And every single person is on the entire planet is different, even if we vote for the same movies or not the same movies. It's the reasons that I find them most interesting. So, and I love The Matrix. Every single time I revisit it, I'm like, man, I forgot how much I loved this movie. But that's one of the reasons why I'm going to pick The Winter Soldier, because I've never forgotten a single reason why I love it. And I think that it did a lot for the superhero genre, because I think genre blending is the recipe, not just for an excellent movie, because it's difficult to blend genres, even when you have something that's like action/comic book and then bring in spy stuff, because those do feel like they naturally blend well together. But that's like the movie that you show your dad, because my dad's fucking old. Like that's the movie you show your dad and you're like, look, Dad, comic book movies are real movies. And that stuff does appeal to me. And again, that's why I agree with every single thing everyone said about The Matrix. I 100% do, but it's just how it hits me. And I am a huge bromance fan. Like, I'm with you till the end of the line. Kevin and I say that to each other every freaking week. Like, that movie just hits me hard in the feels. So, and I do think that the only part I will challenge, I do think it's legit a good movie regardless of its superhero status. But I agree with everything everyone said about The Matrix, but I'm going to vote Winter Soldier. I'll die on this hill.
Taylor, are you tying this up?
I'm joining the Mara party on this
Oh,
one.
yay!
I'm joining the Mara party on this one. Look, Matrix is culturally so important and so just ingrained in pretty much everything. And it's a great movie. Quality-wise, it's a fantastic movie. But if I'm going to pick one to put on, I'm going to put on The Winter Soldier. Like, if I'm going to choose the one I want to watch, it's going to be The Winter Soldier. It's just, like Mara said, it just hits me differently. It's just a movie that I really enjoy. It's not my favorite Captain America movie, but it's my second favorite Captain America movie. And I do think that it's just one of those things. Like, there are moments in it that just mean more to me on an emotional level, and I just connect with it more. So I'm going with The Winter Soldier.
Adam, that means you have the deciding vote.
This is great.
Adam, if you don't want the deciding vote, you can vote. We can make Jacob vote, and then Dan Merle can be the deciding vote because he's on the other side of this camera.
Oh,
So if you want to abdicate responsibility, you can do that.
I mean, okay, it's going to really depend on what he votes, though, because
I already have my FU Jacob ready to go.
Yeah, no, because I know where I'm
Hey,
going.
both these movies are great. How can we be mad at either one for going through, though? Really?
All right, Adam, what have you got?
I don't have an FU Jacob yet, but I do have a hello Dan. Hey, buddy. I'll tell you this. This is a fun matchup. This is something you would like to see, at least in the quarterfinals in most situations. So a little bit ahead of their time here. So Captain America: The Winter Soldier. I agree with everyone's points. It's at least in my top 10 of the current Marvel iteration of movies. And I think it's very, very deserving of its praise. But The Matrix, not only was it, relevant historically, it was also, it hit me. I saw it right when it came out, rewatched it obsessively. So, admittedly, it's not that hard for me either. So I'm sorry not to build up the suspense too much, but The Matrix is my vote. I love that movie. I'm also thinking about representation for the franchise, because if we've got, Reloaded and Revolutions to carry the torch, what chance do we have? I enjoy those sequels for what they are. I will defend them in future rounds, but The Matrix has the most realistic chance of going ahead. MCU is going to get plenty of representation, guys. It's not going anywhere, okay? And Winter Soldier is awesome, but The Matrix, it's a big deal, guys. It's a big deal.
And with that, The Matrix has been. The Matrix has.
I was going to say eliminated.
Captain America: The Winter Soldier has been eliminated. Unfortunately, that would have been my pick. Would have been The Matrix. I would have picked Matrix.
So you're on strike 3.
Yeah.
Stream 3, strike 3.
I mean, if it was going to lose to anything, I'm glad it was The Matrix, because that is legit, I think, like my favorite MCU movie. But how could I possibly be mad at The Matrix for kicking it out?
Yeah. Well, it's wow, Matrix.
I love how the excuse every time we've kicked out an MCU movie has been there'll be more. Eventually, there's not going to be more. I'm just going to throw that out there.
And I won't say F you, Jacob, but for people in the chat who are disappointed about Winter Soldier, I will say, Jacob, slap on the wrist for your randomizer. Slap on the wrist, sir.
Yeah.
Lauren, I'm with you. It's fine. We'll pass away together.
All right. Let's move on to our next one. Maybe a slight part. I have no idea.
Just put it up.
Avengers Age of Ultron versus the original Conan the Barbarian. Adam, I'm going to start with you and let you not have to be a deciding vote.
Yeah, no. So Avengers Age of Ultron has James Spader, which I love about that movie. That's probably one of my favorite things about Age of Ultron. I also think it's unfairly maligned. People like to dogpile on that movie. I get that it's a bridging chapter. And in my opinion, though, it kind of reminds me in that way of John Wick Chapter 2. Like, people are kind of hard on that movie because it set up a lot of the world building, so the third one could kind of run with it. So I appreciate that Age of Ultron, did its thing there. But Conan the Barbarian, people. Okay, so Conan the Barbarian, that's a movie that is in some of my earliest memories. I love that era of filmmaking, especially with regards to fantasy, and science fiction. Conan the Barbarian is ultimately responsible for He-Man in a lot of ways, which is kind of like the kid-friendly version of the character for all intents and purposes. But this original movie doesn't pull its punches. It's very R-rated. It's very medieval. I love how unabashed it is with its approach to the source material. The sequel is a bit more silly, even though I enjoy it for what it is. But Conan the Barbarian is an all-time classic, and if people haven't seen it, they really need to, because even if it's not your cup of tea, you're going to realize how much it influenced so many other movies, and that's important. Age of Ultron is cool, and James Spader is, again, awesome, but Conan the Barbarian, please, because I think it's going to get beat. Maybe people will surprise me, but I will die on this hill.
Mara.
Okay, so I have some very strong opinions about Avengers Age of Ultron. I think that it is very underrated. I think as a singular movie even, I don't mind it. But it established all of the things that people say that they loved about Avengers Endgame. Like, it set up Cap and Mjolnir, it set up Avengers Assemble. It did so much. And I love James Spader. Like, I want him to read me a freaking dictionary.
Please.
The voice is everything. Like, he's my Morgan Freeman. And I have a lot of like personal connection to Wanda and her losing her brother. So like that scene actually really like sticks me in the guts. And I mean, I really could go on and on. Like, I'm not saying it's a great movie. It's definitely lower middle, probably for me, MCU wise. But Conan the Barbarian, just for me, those movies like that, like Red Sonja, like all of them, they just feel so samey, and that's just me. I guess I don't know why. I should like them more than I do, but I don't. But I could talk about Age of Ultron and all of its underrated things. Plus, oh my God, Claw. Like, I don't know what he ever does when he's that character, but that works. Like, I'm into that, like, inappropriately so. Like him, and then, Kenneth Branagh in Tenet. I don't know what he was doing there, but I was inappropriately stimulated. And so I'm just going to say for Andy Serkis, I'm picking Avengers Age of Ultron.
Were you
Mollie.
stimulated because you could actually understand what he was saying in Tenet?
We had to actually, we had a digital copy of it from the studio, and we couldn't understand a freaking thing. And we ran out and we bought the Blu-ray. So even though they gave us a free copy, we had to go buy it because I couldn't watch it without subtitles. I couldn't understand.
Yeah, I needed
anything.
subtitles too. Screw that.
Yeah.
Mollie.
It's been a long time since I've seen Conan the Barbarian, and from what I remember of it, it didn't resonate with me a whole lot. I know it probably was very influential, but I'm gonna go Age of Ultron on this one. I feel like I'm backpedaling in everything I said before with Matrix and Winter Soldier, but I love a lot of the characters in Age of Ultron, and yeah, Wanda and Vision. Oh, I just love those two so much.
Brian.
I am also Age of Ultron. One of my favorite characters is Wanda, and this was kind of her "Hello, I'm here" movie. So, yeah, going with Age of Ultron on this one.
All right, Marisol.
It's been so many years. I've never seen Conan all the way through. It's been so many years. I saw him when I was a little kid. So I'm working off of like memories with this. But I'm just into that. I'm into that. Those sword and sandals epics. Even just these ancient warrior movies, like especially in the 80s between Clash of the Titans, Highlander, Conan. Even I think to some degree, obviously like a modern, like Terminator has elements of that. Like I see lots of similarities with like Terminator and Highlander, but that's obviously a separate conversation. But I get really into these. If you can't tell, I'm really into high concept, like fantasy with an edge, you know, like grounded and with stakes, with violence, and everything that I remember about Conan the Barbarian. I just remember just being really into it. I remember being swept up into the world, feeling scared. I'm sure, of course, I'm sure it looks dated. I really do want to rewatch it. I'm sure it looks dated. Obviously, I'm more familiar, more recently seen Age of Ultron. Sorry to counter. I like all the points I'm hearing about it, but it's Age of Ultron is tiring and doesn't interest me. There's not a lot in it that grips me. I'm also not an MCU shill, so it takes I can be pretty in the middle. I'm not inclined to I don't have, like, I'm not going in with a soft spot for a lot of these stories and these characters. I'm pretty objective when I come into them. Age of Ultron, I found tiresome. It's just exhausting. We just had a repeat of just beating like 1,000 gray, just an army of just thousands upon thousands of nameless, soulless, just gray metal enemies, just like in the end of the first Avengers. That was very tiresome. Yeah, and it was kind of long. I'm sorry. Don't have very good memories of Age of Ultron. This is definitely Conan the Barbarian.
Don't be sorry. Your opinion is never something to apologize for.
Yeah.
No.
Long.
I know. I'm more like apologizing to the movie because I know, like, hey, movie, I know you tried, but like,
Good for you, movie.
Movies are now sentient beings. Alex.
I unfortunately have not seen Conan the Barbarian. I had a friend growing up that really loved it, and I guess he just never convinced me. But Adam convinced me a few minutes ago. So I'm like,
dude, there's snakes, there's camel punching. Just watch it.
Oh, yeah,
Camel punching.
Yeah.
But just because I've seen it, and I enjoy Age of Ultron. It's fine. Like, it's definitely not on the top tier of Marvel movies, but I thought it was enjoyable to watch. I totally agree. It's just another, like, thousands of people to beat up at the end, and it doesn't feel like it advances things the way that the other Avengers movies do. But it does have Paul Bettany, who plays Dryden Voss in Solo, and thank you, Mara, for reminding me that Ulysses Claw's in that movie, Snoke.
Sure.
There we go.
All right.
I'm just going to add a very small 2 cents in about this because not much needs to be said other than the fact that Age of Ultron has Wanda, and as Brian Ward has pointed out, it has Cap ripping a log in half with his bare hands, and that's all I need to see ever from anything. So let's go.
For the record, Conan
oh my God,
can do
Sam
that
Jackson.
Too. Conan can do that.
Oh my God.
This game of 6 degrees is going to drive me insane. Isn't it? Like, you're just like, oh my God, the stuff that I'm missing.
Most obvious one.
All right, we are moving on to Blade.
Who won?
Judge. Oh, sorry. Age of Ultron makes it through. Makes it through 5-2. We are moving on to Blade versus Judge Dredd. I am going to start with Mara. Where are you going?
You always start with me.
Do it.
Okay, please.
You're so influential.
I'm frequently in the top couple, but that's okay. This is really legitimately tough for me. I like the first Blade movie. I think most people can say that it's the strongest of the three. And if people disagree, by the way, that's totally fine. I just think the general consensus is that the first one is the best one. And I love that movie. I think it really kind of perfectly balances Wesley Snipes being Wesley Snipes and Chris Christopherson being Chris Christopherson, which they kind of went a little off the deep end, both of them, as the second and third films progressed. But I have a just immense, unparalleled amount of childhood nostalgia for Judge Dredd. I really, really do. I'm not going to tell you it's a good movie. I'm not even going to tell you it's a good adaptation because it is not. But I just love it so much. So I honestly don't know what to do. Do I pick the movie that I know is objectively good, that I do really enjoy, or do I pick the one that has a small piece of my childhood inside of the cursed earth with the cannibals? Oh, this is so tough.
This is like the Power Rangers. What was Power Rangers against in that other round?
Ooh.
The Crow.
Exactly.
Was it Power Rangers versus the Crow? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this I think might be my fuck you Jacob round.
Hold on, we've got one.
We need to get you a bell.
Yeah. I need to make a sound
it's
on
really tough. Because I'm sure this is probably going to go like Blade every single other person. So part of me is like, no, give the pity vote to your spirit animal, the angel family who eat other people, and Judge Dredd. Or, and plus, honestly, it's a great movie because Rob Schneider plays a white person in it. So that's a victory right there. So
it's not surf ninjas.
Successfully been brownwashed. Yeah.
And then, but Blade is just so good. And there's a rave with blood. I'm going to go with Blood Rave. I'm going to go with Blade. I'm sorry, Danny Cannon. I'm so sorry.
Molly, where are you going?
Blood Rave.
I am a hardcore.
We found our new hashtag.
I am a hardcore Blade lover. Blade wins this, no contest for me. I don't think I've even seen Judge Dredd all the way. I should probably give that one a rewatch, but
Just watch Dredd.
I'm so down to watch any of the Blade movies whenever he wants to study, but the first Blade just it hits differently. I don't know why.
We're trying to study for IG, and Mollie's like, "Do you want to watch the 3 Blade movies again?"
Yes! Vampires, give them to me. Blood raves, yes, all day. Shower me with blood in the basement of a
I think it was a butcher shop.
butcher shop. Do it. Just like, yes, it's the best.
Now I know what we're doing when we visit you in Atlanta.
You know all the spots.
Marisol.
Yeah, Judge Dredd. Judge Dredd is fun enough. I owe that a rewatch. It's fun enough. It's got like a layer of like almost satire to it. Like almost kind of like an underlying sense of humor. Stallone was just so committed. It's like not taking himself too seriously. It's fun enough. I do think Dredd is superior. Judge Dredd is fun enough, but Blade is definitely definitely the strongest of the Blade movies. And you just can't beat Wesley Snipes is just so in command and so badass and has so much attitude to spare as Blade. You know, I'm excited for Ali, but like, and I'm not saying he's gonna top Snipes, but just Snipes is just so iconic as that character. That was a big movie for representation amongst superheroes. Marvel was getting on the map. You know, it was I don't know. Correct me, Marvel shills, but it was like one of the most successful, I guess, at the time Marvel adaptations, was it? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah. It was starting to get Marvel adaptations on the map, really like that. Blade's a really, really fun movie, and Wesley Snipes is having an absolute blast. And he carries it. Blade all the way.
All right, Brian.
I'm also on that Blade train, for sure. I mean, especially with the excitement that this one just gave for blood raves. How could you?
She texted Brian when no one was looking.
Yeah,
It's like, Brian, you better put it.
You better pick the one with blood raves. I think that's what it said. So Blade.
Alex.
Yeah, Judge Dredd. I remember seeing it as a kid. I don't remember much else, but Blade is just so much fun, and having recently rewatched it and being like, yep, this is as good as I remembered it. It's just a blast to watch. I don't think it gets enough credit. Kind of like Marisol, you were saying, it was one of the earliest Marvel movies, and everyone I think gives X-Men kind of the credit for really taking things off. But it's like Blade was before that, and it was rated R, which is surprising.
Yeah.
But yeah, super fun to watch. I like all 3 of them. Also, I almost couldn't find a connection, but the character Pearl, the really big vampire, the archivist, inspired the character Mama the Hutt in the Clone Wars on the planet Nalhutta.
I forgot about that.
Nailed it.
Fair enough. Adam.
Wow. I'm just chewing over that one, Alex. Thank you. All right, so Judge Dredd, if you saw it at the right time, there's a lot of goodwill around that movie that I think people forget if they did see it, at the right time. Also, I like Stallone. I was rooting for him in that movie. But it's admittedly not one of his best. Like, I was chasing that Demolition Man high, and I didn't get it with Judge Dredd. But I got a whiff. I got a whiff. It was cut with something else, but I got a whiff. So Blade,
dark cheese.
I was gonna say Rob Schneider. Rob Schneider
wasn't he in Demolition Man too?
But Blade, the thing I loved about it was a very unassuming, organic comic book movie that just happened, and without any idea of what was going to come next, it just released, and people were into it. And X-Men came a couple years later. And I like that in the first Blade, Wesley Snipes is a bit more serious. I didn't like him getting as glib in the sequels. So the first one is my favorite of the three. And I'd like to see what it faces off against next. So Blade, please.
All right.
Yeah. Vampires. Yep.
Vampires make it through. Blade does get the win here. All right, we move on. This is actually a pretty interesting one. Unbreakable versus Men in Black 2. Molly, I'm going to start with you.
Oh man. Another one that I don't know, it's not super memorable. I think I'm gonna go Unbreakable because I liked the first Men in Black. Everyone after that, I feel like I don't remember that well. Unbreakable, at least, I have more memories of that one. Yeah, I'm gonna go Unbreakable for no good reason, other than I remember it more.
That's a good reason.
So yeah, Men in Black 2. Lara Flynn Boyle, ladies and gentlemen, she came back and did that movie. So I remember that about it. I got a question right about this movie in the Schmodown. I like that about this movie. I got to dunk on it because I've been to Truro, Massachusetts many times for my job, so I was able to name the town of the post office. That said, Unbreakable, I think people are overly high on this movie sometimes, just because they compare it to all of Shyamalan's films and, kind of graded on a huge curve. I think what's cool about it, though, is without any self-awareness, it did tap into comic book mythology before it was cool to do that, excessively. So that's what I really like about Unbreakable. It's a bit dour, a bit wet. But I
moist even
a lot of rain.
Would you say it's moist?
Yeah, but don't tell Bruce Willis that. Freaks him out. Yeah, Unbreakable's a cool movie. I don't know if I'll vote for it in the next round, but over Men in Black 2, it's not much of a contest for me. Men in Black 2 is it might be my least favorite. I don't know. That and International are kind of neck and neck, but yeah, Unbreakable is my vote.
Alex.
I had to look up and see what year Men in Black 2 came out, but I have a vivid memory of seeing that movie. And it's like, when you're younger and like every movie you see, you're like, that was great. Like there's just a point where all of a sudden you realize movies can be bad. And I remember being confused walking out of Men in Black 2. I was like, I don't think I liked that. And I was just like, I didn't know how to handle that. And I was 15, which that feels like it was too late for that to happen, but that's my memory. So I remember, and I like Unbreakable, and I vividly remember disliking Men in Black 2, and I haven't seen it since. So Unbreakable.
I have that same memory, but for Ang Lee's Hulk, which ironically now I actually really like. I think is like it is a good movie. But 11-year-old Jacob did not like that movie. He was very bored. So I have that exact same memory. Let's go to Brian.
So 11-year-old Brian actually loved Men in Black 2. So I don't mind it Unbreakable, but I think the nostalgia factor pushes me in the direction of Men in Black 2. I can remember, I don't know why, can remember going to see that movie in theater, but yeah, so I'm gonna go towards Men in Black 2.
All right, Mara.
I would like to take this opportunity to ask Marisol if she would prepare to open that box, because Men in Black 2 is the closest I think I can get, since what it directly ties to is not actually found in this round at all, so it wouldn't be on this evening's show. But while she's doing that, I will say that I'm a big fan of the East Rail trilogy. I like that, especially Unbreakable. I like that it is deliberate. I like that it's slow. I like that it's kind of dour. I even like its really muted color palette. I'm a I'm a big fan of it. I don't need to belabor the point because now I just want you to go and let Marisol open that box. So Unbreakable. Check
Marisol,
box.
I'm going to make you the solo screen in a minute.
I'm so excited about this.
I've been like eagerly waiting to I was like, when is Mara gonna give me the go ahead? When is she gonna give me the go ahead? Okay. All right. Unboxing time, y'all. Okay.
I got to drop that. There we go.
So, here's what it says.
Oh, wow.
There's no question of that.
Amazing. That is amazing. Oh my god, that is amazing. Hey, Marisol may actually cry. This is. Oh my god, that is amazing. That is genuinely amazing.
I am moved.
I'm not joking. I walked into a Kohl's to pick up some flatware that we ordered, and there's a Pygmy Puff sitting right there, 10 feet inside the store, and I was like, "Are you shitting me? I'm behind her fucking Pygmy Puff."
That's amazing. Oh my god, you are incredible. Could I give you 1,000 thank yous? Oh my god. Thank you.
I will only accept 999.
No. Oh my god.
I was waiting for that.
Christ, I was like,
No way, no.
If it got murdered like 2 seconds after she opened it, I think I would cry.
Okay, I'm just gonna hold this all the way up to her. Oh my god, her eyes. She her ears went up. I should have seen this coming. All right, I'm gonna keep this incredibly safe. Oh my god. Oh god, it was close. You have 1 billion toys. What are you doing?
Oh, that just broke me.
Well, we've gotten Mara to break once. We've got Marisol to break once. I think it was your turn. Oh.
Oh god, that was all right.
What were we doing? Where am I?
Unbreakable or
yes.
Men in Black 2?
Right.
You're
Okay.
up.
So
My pup is safe.
why
I'm sorry.
does it always go off the rails when I'm about to try and talk about something? Okay.
I'm sorry.
So no.
She's just sitting on the shelf. She's just sitting in front of the shelf, staring at it now. This is.
I have a fairly simple answer for this one. I remember enjoying Unbreakable. I don't really remember anything about Men in Black 2. I'm pretty sure I've seen it one time and then have never been like, I need to sit down and watch this again. So I'm just gonna go with Unbreakable. I love how the movie we're talking about is Unbreakable and you're just destroyed over there. You can't.
Oh, that was amazing. It's so amazing. Marisol, which one are you picking? I compose myself.
I have composed myself. This is a really, really interesting mashup. I think Unbreakable is one of those. Unbreakable is definitely one of those movies that I wasn't that impressed by when I first saw it, and I think that through movie discourse, internet, blah blah blah, people talking over the years, Unbreakable's reputation has grown and has gone up, and people hold it in higher regard as time has gone on. They look at it, they dissect it, they assess it further. As with many Shyamalan works, everybody just wanted another Sixth Sense when that movie came out. He was obviously had bigger things on his mind, much more broader, more ambitious ideas in his mind, and people weren't ready. So people are giving it second looks constantly, and it is growing in people's favor as the years go on. That being said, though, I do, like dour is the word. I have to be really honest, and like it is somber. That being said, I am still critical of the film. I still think that it is a little too slow. Great ideas, great mythos building, superhero building, really dissecting like what makes the building of a legend, and the story behind our superheroes. But I do think it is a little slow. Just very dour. Yeah, very. I don't rewatch it that often. and Men in Black 2 is close with International as the weakest sequel. This is tough. I'm not really blown away, particularly by either of these films. Lara Flynn Boyle, though, as Adam was saying, she is pretty spicy, and she is memorable. She makes the most of her role as that villain, a pretty one-note villain, but she brings a lot of charisma to it and makes it work. And she is memorable. Wish I could take Johnny Knoxville and that stupid little head out of it, but what can you do? I still think this is tough. I think I will go with Unbreakable. I think because of the reach, because of its ambition, and because I just really like Shyamalan, and I do give him the benefit of the doubt, even if his films don't get it 100% right. I still think he has great ideas. Similar to, like, I feel still in 2021 when he's making movies in 2021. Funny. But yeah, Unbreakable.
All right. And with that, Unbreakable makes it through. Let's move on to our next one. We have the Dwayne Johnson Hercules versus Labyrinth. Brian, I'm going to start with you.
Both of these are like, maybe for some people they like, but for me, I'm just kind of like meh on both of them.
I thought you were texting Brian.
Mollie, quickly tell me which one should I pick. It hasn't gone through. Shockingly enough, I think I'm gonna go with Hercules on this one. Shit, was that the wrong one, Mollie? Damn it. Yeah, I'm. These ones are for me just kind of like, okay. So I'm gonna go with Hercules on that one.
All right, we have one vote for Hercules. Taylor.
Yeah, I mean, I like that's kind of where I'm at with both of these as well. But I mean, I have to go with Henson. Like, I can't do anything. Like, it just, that's how it has to be.
Can't vote against Jim Henson.
No, I can't do it. I can't do it.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
All right, 1-1. Alex.
I kind of feel the same way. I don't love Labyrinth the way that some people do. But I do. I like it. And also, Jim Henson.
The other thing I didn't actually mention about this show is generally couples, someone sleeping on a couch. Typically, like it's just how it happens on this show. Someone sleeping on a couch tonight.
I think you'll forget. I like it. But Jim Henson, Yoda, like, easy connection, and yeah, it's an easy choice over Brett Ratner.
All right, Mollie, I'm just going to let you glow about this movie.
The Labyrinth is amazing. It's dance, magic, dance. You fools. Exactly, Jesse.
He texts me saying Labyrinth is a classic, you uncultured swine.
I have to agree.
Thank you.
Not the swine
part. It's so good. And, like, David Bowie, he's not in many movies, but he was like, okay, I'm going to be in this movie and I'm going to sell it as David Bowie. And he did exactly that. But Jennifer Connelly is in this. It's Jim Henson, but it's also just a really freaking great movie. Ludo is, like, one of the best characters of all time. He's adorable. I have a hand-painted print of him that I bought on a whim when I was in California because I just saw it and I was like, oh my God, it's Ludo from The Labyrinth. It's a really phenomenal movie. It's got the Bog of Stench, which is hilarious.
That's what I was waiting for.
I don't care who you are. Fart jokes are funny. The Bog of Stench is amazing.
I was like, if you don't mention the fart swamp, I'm calling you out.
I've never seen Hercules, so this might be a little bit one-sided, but I'm going Labyrinth.
All right.
I think you'd be hard-pressed to find any other. I think you're going to vote Labyrinth all the way.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, through the rest of the tournament.
Oh, well, I don't know. We'll see.
Adam, where are you going?
I'm with Mollie. Fart jokes are funny. I got this book for my daughter. She thinks it's pretty cool. It is a good book. There's a whole series apparently, but Labyrinth. It's ultimately my vote, but I do want to say Hercules does have Ian McShane and John Hurt in the same movie, and that's pretty cool. That's about all it has going for it, though. Labyrinth, great music, really cool effects. If you go back to that era, we're all very nostalgic for the puppetry, but you compare it to something like Dark Crystal, which I think is very cool in its own right, but I think Labyrinth is it sells itself better because you have that mixture of the human actors with the puppets, and I think that that's a very important combination for where the effects were at the time, and I think Labyrinth nails that. There are some things that you can argue are outdated now, but it's still a really cool movie, and I saw it for the first time at summer camp projected on a big screen, which was a really cool experience. And I also think Alex has to beat Jareth for Halloween now.
You ready for that bulge, babe?
I gotta practice my ball twirling.
Yeah, you do.
There you go.
Marisol.
There's Labyrinth is slight, but it's gorgeous, and yeah, like the on a technical level, you know, there's just a lot to appreciate. There's so much to appreciate. Costumes are gorgeous. Obviously, the puppetry. I'll never forget. It's been years since I've seen Labyrinth. That was a one and done. It's been years, but like I'll never forget the stairs, like the scene with like the oh my god, why can't I not remember what they're called? But you all know what I'm talking about. There's a member of our faction who just like always brings up Bowie's bulge, like in this movie. I won't say their name to protect the guilty.
Mike.
It's totally Mike. So now I just like whenever I think about this movie, I just think about Bowie's bulge, and it's not really a good thing to like just have burned into your memory, but whatever. I've never seen Hercules. That makes this pretty easy.
You're fine.
I've never seen it. I never had really any interest in seeing it. Sorry, I never had interest in seeing it. I'm not mad at The Rock. I just, And Brett Ratner has made a couple good movies. Like I think Tower Heist is decent, and of course the first couple Rush Hours. No, Labyrinth.
All right, and Mara.
I'm actually really glad that I didn't go first. I am not a joy thief. I don't want to take one iota of anyone else's joy away from Labyrinth, but I fucking hate that movie.
You're not breaking any, not my heart. Yeah.
And I don't want to give Brett Ratner anything ever, but I will give Ian McShane Amphiaraus the Seer and Rufus Sewell Autolycus the Rogue. I want to give them something, so because I actually remember their stupid names. So thank you, Christian Harloff, for making me do that. And I want to love Labyrinth. I do. I love Bowie. I just. Yeah. But sadly, I will vote for Hercules because it's not going through. So this vote goes nowhere, and I'm staying true to my principles that I just want to toggle in my face.
Not even the bulge, Mara. Not even the bulge.
There's lots of bulges in Hercules. Lots.
That's true. Touche.
With that, Labyrinth does make it through, so Mollie does not have to murder anyone. Let's move on to Iron Man 3 versus I, Frankenstein. Brian, I'm going to start with you.
Again? Okay.
I did just start with you. Sorry.
You know what? Nope, it's fine.
Okay.
You know what? If you're on this show, just be ready for randomness to just come at you. Just got to be ready.
Yeah.
Works for me. This was like when I saw it, I immediately went Iron Man 3, and then I'm thinking about it, and I'm kind of like, I think, yeah, I'm gonna go with my gut on this one, and I'm just gonna go Iron Man 3. I freaking love Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. Like, I could watch a million of those. Like, even in the bad ones, he's going to be consistently good. Oh, good. I made the right choice, apparently. Yeah, like, I think the thing that, like, for me, Iron Man 2 and 3 are okay, but, like, they're still watchable and, like, enjoyable because of him. So I'll give the edge to Iron Man 3 on this one.
All right. Marisol.
Not a big fan of either of these movies. The Shane Black treatment, you think that would fit? You think Shane Black and Robert Downey Jr. back again would like be? Wait.
Yeah.
Wait. Who wrote Kiss Kiss Bang Bang? Wait. Yeah.
He's Shane Black. Shane Black.
No, that's Shane Black. Yeah. I was like, wait a minute. Then back again. You think that would be? You think that would be a hit? You think that would be another hit? But him trying to apply his Shane Black template to the Iron Man story, I wasn't really feeling it. It's just I don't know all the comic book backgrounds with these, so my introduction was this film, and the man, I just thought there's too much that I thought in Iron Man 3 was just getting. I think it was a little lighter, a little jokier, a little sillier, even for Iron Man 3 standards, and I kind of wanted it to be. Everything that happened with Ben Kingsley, I was like, oh, this is silly. And I wasn't digging it as much as I thought I would. I did like the finale. I didn't think that Guy Pearce was as intimidating or as memorable as a villain. Even in just that series of movies alone. I did like Gwyneth Paltrow at the end. I'm kicking a little ass at the end. I did like that. That was probably my favorite thing in that movie. That being said, Frankenstein is as a poop sandwich. That's a big old poop sandwich. I think that movie's probably even goofier. I think Aaron Eckhart. That's really that's goofy casting. I don't like that. I only caught like the last 50 minutes of this movie on whatever like More Max or HBO West or something one night, and I just thought it was pretty terrible. There's it gave me kind of Van Helsing vibes, but I enjoyed Van Helsing a little more. Because that movie was just going for it, and Frankenstein was just trying and failing, and I think they missed the mark with just casting that main actor. I think it's goofy. So not a big fan of either of these, but if I gotta squeak it out with one, I'm gonna squeak it out with Iron Man 3.
All right, Mara, you seemed very excited when this matchup came up. So I'm gonna go to you next.
Okay, so I will not pretend Frankenstein is a good movie, but every time I see the title, I get the giggles. I get the gigs because in the Spanish language title is Yo Frankenstein. And I actually love the idea of Jai Courtney being a gargoyle because something about that just tickles me the right way. I don't know why. I just really like it. And it's not good, but I actually like rewatching it because it's my kind of bad. That being said, I low-key really, really like Iron Man 3. It for me personally, I love the idea that this movie allowed them to show that Tony Stark is a hero, not just Iron Man as a hero. I like that he spends most of the movie out of the suit, personally. I also really like how they confront in a serious way because the MCU had not yet really, it was just starting to turn towards looking at things seriously and taking a little bit of the camp out of it, and looking at PTSD through the lens of what like real veterans can see PTSD to look like, and how that looks through the eyes of a child, especially too. I really appreciated that. And I'm not going to say it's not high tier MCU for me, but it's better than Gargoyles, sadly. So I'm going to go Iron Man 3.
All right. Alex.
I haven't seen I, Frankenstein. I read the wiki and said, what? Like a bunch of times. And it was like 2 or 3 paragraphs. And I was still very confused. But I still got a 5-pointer on it. So yeah. Yep. But I think Iron Man 3 is underrated. I like it quite a bit. I love Shane Black. I love Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. I think the skydiving segment of the movie is super cool, where like all the Air Force One staff have to be collected up before they hit the water. I think that part's great. I really like all of the suits that Tony has that come in to save the day at the end. I think it's a fun movie. And then I was also so proud of myself for being like, oh, Shane Black, Predator, Carl Weathers, Mandalorian. And I was like, oh yeah, and Jon Favreau's in this. So it's a lot easier. I went the long way around, but
yeah. We're all very proud of you.
I think you're just a racist against Argentinians.
Adam.
Well, one of these movies has a protagonist named Adam, so that's kind of cool. But I wish it was for something a little more impactful. I, Frankenstein, to Mara's point, the Gargoyle siblings are interesting. There are some large firearms in the film, I believe. But Iron Man 3, I think, over time has fit in to its place in the larger narrative. Because of how episodic these Marvel movies are, I think you can go back to a film like that. And at the time, there was such an appetite for something to the scale of the Avengers that when Iron Man 3 came out, it was such counter-programming that people really rejected it immediately. But then, I think people have warmed up to it. Not everybody, but, I think more people have over time. And I think it's fundamentally a better film than I, Frankenstein. So, yeah, I vote for Iron Man 3.
All right. And Molly?
I have not seen I, Frankenstein, and it doesn't sound like I should. So I really like Iron Man 3. Is that the first one that Black Widow is in?
That's 2.
No, she's in 2.
Never mind.
I hate Iron Man 3.
No, I do remember of Iron Man 3. It had one of my favorites, like Tony Stark transforming into the suit Iron Man moments when he's like out on the track. Dang it! What? Which one is 3?
That's the one where like all the different components can fly to him.
It's kind of Christmassy.
Yeah.
It's
There's
fine.
a giant.
Do you want to go with I, Frankenstein?
Hey, Ben Kingsley, Molly, there's fart jokes in it.
There are.
Oh, well, then there you go.
Yeah.
Taylor.
So I, Frankenstein has Yvonne Strahovski, so there's my vote. Done.
Okay.
She's hot. We're voting for her. Done.
I love Chuck,
All right.
so that's
Specific.
Yeah.
All right. This is where Jesse murders me. So actually, no, Jesse and Lauren both.
They're
murder
both
me.
gonna-
They're
yeah.
gonna absolutely murder me. We have Pirates of the Caribbean. The versus.
Oh, this is the
Jurassic.
worst one.
Can we all unanimously just say it together?
I was preparing myself for Jurassic Park versus Solo. This hadn't occurred to me.
So that just got very quiet very quickly.
No, sorry. I'm gonna cash in here. This is my fuck you, Jacob.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cash in here. There've been so many dog shit movies against each other in this bracket. Why aren't the good ones going against the good ones? What is going on?
Preach.
I didn't actually.
What is going
mean
on?
this.
I want to speak to the manager. I really do. Okay.
Oh, she's turning into Karen, guys. Look what you did.
Marisol, get the streak wig. Get the streak wig.
No, I am. I need the wig. Oh, it's at my apartment. I don't have the wig. No, but I am. All right, Jacob is attacking me. You are attacking me. You are offending me. You are attacking me, and I feel attacked. Okay, these movies cannot be against each other. All
I
right?
mean, don't feel bad because Lauren also feels personally attacked.
Yes, thank you. All right, she and I are gonna Karen out hard with this. All right.
Well, Marisol, you may start. You may start us off with the first fuck you. So, yep.
I just don't want Curse of the Black Pearl to go. It is the best Pirates of the Caribbean movie by far. Like it's the best Pirates of the Caribbean movie. It just deserves to stay and to keep going. And it gave us a depth like mini. I don't know. I don't even know if his career was on slide, but it revitalized, an already decent career with this character, Jack Sparrow. It revitalized some of our love, even though Mask of Zorro should have done that a few years before. It somehow revitalized everybody's love. Yeah, Mask of Zorro. Pirates is a terrific movie. It's one of the best modern swashbuckling adventures that we have. The examples of the genre that is really hard to make a good one in this day and age. And Curse of the Black Pearl is that movie. It got it done. It is so much fun. I still have such amazing memories seeing that with my mom, and it's a terrific movie. And today it's going against one of the greatest movies of all time. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. You should be sorry. I'm not sorry for shit. Jurassic Park is one of the best examples of film ever. It is my favorite movie of all time. It's not even close. Maybe Titanic. Maybe Titanic is up there with how much I've seen in terms of how much I've seen a film. I believe Jurassic Park. I love this movie so much. I would never ever pick. I wouldn't pick any movie over Jurassic Park. Any movie in the world against Jurassic Park, I wouldn't pick it. And damn you, Jacob. Jurassic Park.
All right, who are you bringing the pain and misery onto next?
Alex, I'm going to go to you.
I won't say anything bad about Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl. Love that movie. Saw it a lot in theaters. It's so much fun. But Jurassic Park is a flawless movie. I love it to death. I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't stick to my guns like I did with The Matrix, where Jurassic Park changed the trajectory of film and CGI and stuff. So I hate it. I hate knocking out Curse of the Black Pearl because, both of these are like the start of two franchises and they're also the best movies. And then they just kind of go off the rails. But Jurassic Park is way better. Samuel L. Jackson, Laura Dern.
Adam?
Yeah, I'm sad about Curse of Black Pearl too, because we have 4 more of those shits we have to get through, Jacob. Thanks.
Actually, I think we've already knocked
I
out
thought we did
one
Dead
of
Men
them.
Tell No Tales, right?
Yeah.
One of them now.
One.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dead Men
Yeah.
died? Okay. All right. So Curse of the Black Pearl, lot of fun. Big hoot. Definitely check that movie out. It was a great amalgamation of, horror movies, adventure films, classic pirate movies. But it's not Jurassic Park. It just isn't. And your randomizer can eat shit. The reason I say that is because Curse of the Black Pearl, I'm not personally offended that it's going to go. I like it. But if we're talking about franchise representation, this should have gone against, I Frankenstein or something, I'm a little bummed out on its behalf, but Jurassic Park is a better film, and it's got a good chance of going the distance in this tournament. So Jurassic Park.
Brian.
This one hurts. It hurts. I've been sitting here going, where are the effing dinosaurs? And then you throw this at us, and then I'm like, oh, crap. Yeah, I have to go Jurassic Park. And there's nothing against Curse of the Black Pearl. I don't even know how many times I saw that movie, but Jurassic Park was like, whoa, those dinosaurs look real. So, yeah, I'm gonna go Jurassic Park.
Mara.
I'm mildly infuriated I'm not at home right now because no. Because you can ask Dan. I have a an actual like real fossilized, not a reproduction, Tyrannosaurus claw in my house. Yeah, because I'm a dork. But I gotta give all of the credit to The Curse of the Black Pearl. We just rewatched it for a Patreon watch along, and man, talk about like. So people talk about how video game movies, you know, it's just like, wow, why can they hardly ever get it right? And even when they get it right, why don't they get it like all the way right? This was an amusement park ride. I thought this was going to suck. I'm not going to lie. Like, it wasn't like I had a fully formed movie palette yet at that time, but I thought it was going to suck. And Jeffrey Rush is doing like a Kenneth Branagh. He's doing something. He's going for it. He is just committed to being as whatever that he's doing. And I am so there. There's so much moisture in this movie. I also want to point out. Although personally though, my Orlando Bloom is Legolas, not Will Turner. I know that will shock a lot of people, but get the wig. I do have to say, though, no one is more moist than Ian Malcolm, sprawled out. It's like his stomach just like breathing with his diaphragm. It's just so juicy. I also like too that it wasn't super heavy-handed, but it did like it discussed feminism. I mean, in the early 90s, which is pretty awesome. And it wasn't like, look at how great women are. Women are so great. Like, because I love the subtlety of social commentary, just personally. But man, like those dinosaurs hold up. Like even if you want to say like, let's just pop in the VHS. Like I'm not talking digitally remastered. I'm not talking Blu-ray. I'm not talking 4K. That shit holds up like so well. And I could keep going. I really could. Also, Jurassic Park was the first movie I remember seeing in a movie theater. So I'm gonna go with not just quality, but nostalgia. And also, I think Dan would have a brain aneurysm if I didn't. So, Jurassic Park.
Mollie.
Oh, man.
It's okay.
So, Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl, I remember seeing in theaters 7 times. It was such a great movie. And it was so fun, and it still is. It's like one of the best swashbuckling movies there will ever be. But
I'm actually shocked right now.
So
I thought you were going to go Pirates all the way.
I want to, but here's the thing: there are dinosaur movies and there are pirate movies, and I want to say there will never be a better pirate movie than Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl, but there might be. There will never be another better dinosaur movie than Jurassic Park, in my opinion. So, because of that reasoning, I gotta go Jurassic Park. And I'm so mad. Fuck this matchup. Terrible.
Taylor?
Direct all that hate to Jacob.
Yeah, so this is like the epitome of why you wanted to do this show in the first place, because this is what fuels you as a person when people are mad at you like this. Yeah, I'm also in a lot of just pain, just generally thinking about this matchup. But as much as I love Pirates, as much as I do, like even the bad movies I have fun with, I just think they're fun to an extent. But this movie, it just did everything it needed to do and did it right. And it was just like, gave me so much hope for the future of pirate movies. But you can't look at Jurassic Park and go, nah, see you later. Get out of here. Like, it just, I can't, like, I'm so angry about it, though. I'm so angry about it. Like,
Let it out.
I have to pick. Like, I'm not gonna get Phantom Menace angry, but I'm gonna get angry. Like,
Yeah, Jacob still has the bruises.
like he's still paying for putting Phantom Menace against something that it was not gonna get past.
Lord of the Rings, Return of the King.
Yeah. Yeah, now Mollie. So yeah, I'm gonna pick Jurassic Park, but yeah, I'm not gonna be happy about it.
I'm going to give the very brief impassioned defense of Curse of the Black Pearl over Jurassic Park, because I would have picked Curse of the Black Pearl, because I saw Jungle Cruise this weekend and I was like, oh, so Pirates showed how to do it. Not every movie can do it. And that's basically why I would pick Pirates, because Jungle Cruise sucked.
It seemed like a haunted.
Jurassic World sucked, so especially Fallen Kingdom. So touche.
That is also very, very true.
Jacob, you seem like a haunted mansion guy.
He's very upset about what we had to go through watching Jungle Cruise.
I did not like Jungle Cruise at all, and I think I'm one of the 4 people in the world who didn't like it. So,
oh no, we didn't either. I have big problems.
That's good.
With it.
Yes. Okay. All right.
What's next?
Okay, nice little palate cleanser.
I hope.
Uh-oh.
Men in Black 3 versus Superman 3.
I like
Okay.
Alex, I'm going to start with you.
Well, I haven't seen Men in Black 3. I have seen Superman 3, and that was a rough watch. I feel like I would enjoy Men in Black 3 more. I think I would enjoy that more as I watched it, because Superman 3 I didn't at all. But now I have to find a way to connect to Star Wars. But I'm gonna go with Men in Black 3, having not seen it.
Don't sweat it.
Don't give me that.
Adam?
So yeah, Superman 3, Richard Pryor skis off of a building, which is relevant to the plot, I promise. I will tell you what, as a fan of Office Space, it's really fun to go back and watch Superman 3 and see them talk about the thing that is the setup of the money scheme in Office Space that they also reference. Yeah, they did it in Superman 3. That's fun. Superman 3 is a bad film. It just is. But it has some iconic moments to it, which I appreciate. I also like the ideas behind it. I like the idea of Clark Kent going to his high school reunion. I think Annette O'Toole is an underrated actress, so she should have been in more movies. She was more of a TV actress, so it was cool to see her in a feature film. And Drunk Superman. Drunk Superman, that's fun with him at the bar. I enjoy that a lot. Men in Black 3 is, in my opinion, the second best Men in Black movie. I think the time travel hook is fun. I think it's a good course correction after the third one. And I was very skeptical because it came out, kind of late. And Josh Brolin really captured the spirit of Tommy Lee Jones in his performance. And Jermaine Clement is underrated in that too. I really like him. So Men in Black 3 is my vote. But Superman 3, if it were 90 minutes, it would be a little bit more fun. But because it's 2 hours, it's tough. It's tough to get through it.
Fair. Mara.
Real quick, Bill Hader is in Men in Black 3, and he helped voice BB-8.
Okay.
I was going to go there for you, but I'm glad you got there on your own. Bottle of
I
wine
had
and
to
all.
look up the cast. I had no idea he was in that.
Oh, yeah, he's like Andy Warhol, except Agent
Yep.
W, because that happened.
Neither of these are good movies.
No, I would say though that I have a really strong soft spot for all of the older Superman films. The good, the medium, and the extra bad. This is only medium for me, but and I do really enjoy it. I love rewatching it, but I agree 100% with Adam that I love Brolin in it, and there's just something really magnetic about watching him do what is something that's a justice to the previous performance and not a facsimile or an imitation of it. And the Michael Stuhlbarg thing is honestly just very joyful to me. There's such a purity there with his character, and I don't know. I didn't really love the whole Mike Coulter draw-in thing because I felt like that retcon just didn't work. But I love a good hidden Nicole Scherzinger and a Nick Cannon because they're on The Masked Singer together. So I'll just go with Men in Black 3.
Marisol.
That's fair. Men in Black 2 is the strongest after the first. I adore the first. I hold the first in very high regard. I think that's one of the best sci-fi comedies ever made. I really hold it in high regard. Everything's a step down after that. I do think 3 is the best of the sequels. Is the closest to capturing some of that spirit, the closest to landing the humor and capturing the right mood from the first one. Time travel is fun again. Yeah, Brolin is great. That was exciting casting that paid off him as young K. Superman 3 is a weird. I have feelings about Superman 3. It's so bizarre. It's my least favorite of the first 4 Superman movies. I would rewatch Quest for Peace before I rewatch Superman 3, which sounds crazy, but Quest for Peace is just like so ridiculous. We were on Planet Cuckoo by that point. It's so ridiculous. It's fun. Like I can just sit back and just laugh completely at it, and just be like, oh, okay. And Superman 3 was where I was just loved Superman 2 so much, and Superman 3 is when the disappointment settles in with the franchise. So that's why I think I hold like a little more anger with Superman 3, because that's when like the quality just dropped, and I was loving it. And it's the first one that made me not like that lost so much of that feeling, because I'm sorry. Of course, I love Richard Pryor. He's a classic. He's a legend. But I just hate that casting of him in Superman 3. I just think it's just not a right fit. He's too befuddled and baffled throughout the entire movie, and it's too silly, and I don't like it. And I just it changed a lot. I know there was a goofy, very fun spirit in the first 2 Superman movies, but I thought this one just got it went too much. Ironically, Superman 3 has some of like Adam was saying, it has some really iconic moments, probably the most gifable moments in like some of the most gifable moments in the Superman series. The junkyard fight is fun, but you know what I do with that? Instead of rewatching the entire movie, I just YouTube. I've done this many times. I've just YouTube the junkyard fight from Superman 3, and I'm like, all right, I'm good. I like, that got me over for the day. I have too much disappointment wrapped up in Superman 3 from my memories. And Men in Black 3 was like a kind of step up from Men in Black 2. So I have some fonder memories from that. So it's definitely Men in Black 3 for me.
All right, Brian.
Having not seen Superman 3, I'm going to go with Men in Black 3. Josh Brolin as that character just cracks me up. Like, he's just such a sourpuss, like, all the time, but he plays it perfectly. And I have a soft spot for the Men in Black trilogy. We're leaving International out. But yeah, so Men in Black 3 for me.
All right, Mollie.
Oh man, I do love the Men in Black movies. The first one I love the most. I feel like all the other ones were just kind of like there for me. I don't know. They didn't really make a super impact on me, but like all of the Superman movies I love, no matter how silly or corny or cheesy they are. There's There's something about him. Like Christopher Reeve is such a good Superman that like even the bad ones that he's in, I'm like, these are great. And every time I watch them, they make me so happy. So I'm going Superman 3 on this one. Like Richard Pryor, it's an interesting role for him. It is very silly, but I don't know, everything about that movie. Like I'll watch it pretty much anytime. It's despite how silly it is, but
Anytime.
Yes. Put it on right now. I'll watch it.
Adam.
I think we agreed to watch 300 Rise of an Empire after this, but then we'll watch.
Oh, I would love to go again, but you started with me.
Sorry, I started with you.
And I hear Molly, aren't you a Mark Pillow fan?
I sure am.
Okay, we'll get to that. We're not on that movie yet, but I've heard you mention him before.
Yeah.
You're up.
Yes, I'm up.
You're up.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm picking Superman 3. If you're gonna give me Christopher Reeve in anything versus a Men in Black film, I'm gonna pick Christopher Reeve. So I'm picking Superman 3.
Okay, I think I lost count. I genuinely, Adam, who did you vote for again?
Men in Black 3.
Okay, and Alex?
Why don't we just have someone
Men in
raise
Black.
their hands? Like, who
Sorry?
voted for Men in Black 3? Raise your hands.
Yeah, who voted for Men in Black 3? 1, 2. Oh, okay, yeah. All right, cool.
It's just Molly and I in our own little camp of Christopher Reeve.
Yeah, okay, cool. So Men in Black 3 made it through. Sorry, it's getting hot in this room.
By the way, Taylor, have you
Okay,
seen
we got
Village of
2
the
left.
Damned? It's awesome, and it has Christopher Reeve in it.
I do like Taylor
Alright.
thinking about Christopher Reeve. You know, he's great.
Alrighty. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull versus Barbed Wire.
God.
It's matchups like this that make people hate me even more when they get the other ones. Let's start with Molly.
Well, I was just Googling barbed wire because I've never seen it.
This
Oh,
one will be
it's
easy.
Casablanca
This
with
one is going
contact
to be
lenses.
easy.
I don't
for
feel
Alex.
like you.
Pam,
Yeah.
wait, Tamir Morrison was in this?
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean,
Yeah,
there you
he's
go.
the
That's why I
interest.
said it was going to be easy for Alex.
And you know, Pam Anderson looking like top of her game in 1996. I just
96? I thought that was like 85 at the latest. I saw that poster.
oh man. Well, okay, now I really want to see barbed wire, but for now I gotta go Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, I guess. But you know, on no good merit because I don't know anything about barbed wire.
3.4 out of 10.
That tells me nothing. That tells me nothing. The Crystal Skull's pretty good.
Marisol?
It's okay.
Yeah, I know people love to do the whole again, in the age of the internet, middling opinions suddenly become extremes and middling movies suddenly become reviled. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is not a terrible movie. You know, at some point along the lines, it became like an embarrassment to you know, like it just it became this like dark stain in like Spielberg's filmography and like the worst Indiana Jones movies by far. You know, and I could rewatch it. It's absolutely not my favorite. No. But I certainly don't hate it. I don't hate it. It does have some pretty silly things in it. And they all have some goofy things in it. They're all a little goofy. They're fun. I do think, Crystal Skull takes a little too far, relies too much on CGI, especially in the whole jungle, the jungle chase scene. Not particularly, those kind of scenes aren't particularly exciting to me when I just know they're just so clearly fabricated and so clearly aided by CGI and everything. But I could still rewatch Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. 2008 Shia LaBeouf was pretty insufferable, but at least most of the movie, Harrison Ford is just being like, yeah, you're a little shit, get out of my face. Like most of the movie, like he's being put in his place most of the movie. So it's not like he's like the cool, like hero of the movie. So that kind of works. Barbed Wire. I barely remember that. That was one of the naughty movies that I sneaked on like late at night on TV. Like I was like, this is a sexy movie, and you know, not with any sex in it really, but it was just like, it was something that I could tell even when I was whatever, like 7 or don't judge my parents, but when I was like 7, whenever like I was able to catch it, like when they weren't looking, I was like, this is terrible. And I was a child. And I knew that. I knew it was just pretty trashy. It was pretty silly. I don't know. That might be Pamela Anderson at peak silicone. I don't know. I know she went up and down with that. I mean, I guess she looked terrific. Of course she looks terrific. That's the point. But it's a pretty embarrassing, really silly movie that, to be fair, I don't think was ever trying to reach for greatness, but it's still pretty terrible. From everything I can remember. And I wouldn't mind watching Kingdom of the Crystal Skull again. It's fine. It's not atrocious. It's fine. So Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Alex?
I walked out of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull being like, that was fun. That felt like an Indiana Jones movie. Was it Raiders of the Lost Ark or The Last Crusade? No, it wasn't. I'm not a huge fan of Temple of Doom. Like, Indiana Jones is such a weird franchise for me because 1 and 3 are like 2 of my favorite movies of all time. 2 and 4, I'm like, yeah, they're there. I'll watch them, whatever. But I definitely don't. I completely agree that it's not some stain on Spielberg or the franchise. I think it's perfectly enjoyable. And if it weren't an Indiana Jones movie, people probably would have enjoyed it a lot more. I haven't seen Barbed Wire, so I'm going Kingdom of the Crystal Skull easy. Everyone knows Harrison Ford. I'm not going to go that route. The Crystal Skull itself appears in an episode of the Clone Wars in the season 3 finale.
And in Solo.
No.
No?
Different thing.
Different Crystal Skull?
That's Iron Man 2.
What?
Brian.
I want that to be the new joke.
Brian.
I have not seen Barbed Wire. Indiana Jones for me, and I vehemently disagree with Alex. Temple of Doom is my favorite of the 4, so bring it.
All right.
I'll text you.
We now
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. So Barbed Wire does have Tamara Morrison, which is cool. There's some road tripping in Canada, from what I recall. There's a second Civil War. So there's some interesting post-apocalyptic stuff. That movie, when it released, I didn't think it was a real movie when it came out. I thought it was like an urban legend. Like I saw the poster and I didn't think the movie was really a thing until I finally saw it on VHS at the video store. I was like, oh, okay. And it's dumb. It's dumb. But Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, people seize on all of these moments that are really easy to make fun of. And I understand that. And it's not a movie I'm eager to revisit. But if you had made this Kingdom of the Crystal Skull versus The Phantom, I would be sweating bullets right now. Because The Phantom is my favorite non-Indiana Jones movie. I feel like it literally has a small army of evil Indiana Joneses led by James Remar in that movie, which is really fun. They have the hats and everything. But Crystal Skull is very watchable, if only for Harrison Ford alone. He's just when he's just grumpy, I love it. I love it. He's so grumpy in this, and he punches so many people in the face, and that's one of the things I love seeing him do, because it's like his whole upper body just like swings forward, and he just like it's like he slap punches them, and I love it. He does so much punching in this movie, and that's fun. So Crystal Skull, we'll see what it faces up against next.
All right, Mara.
So for the many people that have not seen Barbed Wire, literally, it is Casablanca with contact lenses instead of papers. That's the whole movie. That's it. I'm not joking. It's not an exaggeration. If you watch it, beat for beat, punch for punch, scene for scene, nearly as far as like what it accomplishes in the movie. It's Casablanca with contact lenses. It's it's a waste of space. But I do have to say though, despite the fact that yes, I'm going to pick Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, my grievances with it, I don't think the movie at large is a stinking crap pile. I don't dogpile into that. However, it irritates me because it doesn't know what it wants to be. So you can have a scene where Indiana Jones falls into a pit of what would appear to be quicksand, but he takes time to specifically educate Mutt that the vernacular for that would be dry sand because of the voids, and that's why it starts sinking. If you're going to nitpick science like that and show that not just he, the character, but that the film itself is somewhat learned, you can't nuke a fridge and not expect me as a nuclear engineer to not say, oh yeah, nuclear fallout, that's just fairy tales and hokum and mermaids and fairies and rainbows. Like,
no, but Mara, it was lead lined. It was a lead lined fridge, right? So
fallout afterwards. It's not like radiation just like shows up and disappears and it's like poof, it's gone. Like I get like viscerally angry because so many movies do it. They villainize nuclear technology, and don't get me wrong, I'm not like pro nuclear weapons or anything, but like nuclear stuff is the villain all the time, and atoms split because they're happy and they want to. And I'm so emotional about it, but it makes me angry. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, I'm done.
All right, and with that, sorry, Taylor.
Do I not to get to this second round in a row? I don't get to say anything.
Oh,
fair enough.
You're the one who brought up the couch, Blunden.
Subconsciously, he knew it was coming.
I'm just gonna cut her off.
Okay, so yeah, I am not. I bring this up quite a bit, but every time like we have new guests on and maybe people don't know, I enjoy the Indiana Jones movies, but they're not like a big deal to me like they are to a lot of other people. I think they're fun movies, but I'm not like gonna put them in my pile of favorite things. So when I saw Crystal Skull, I left the theater and was like, that was fun. I can see how that's an Indiana Jones movie. Cool. And then everyone was like, this has ruined the franchise and it sucks and it's terrible. And then I went, I'm never going to talk about this movie in front of anyone ever again because I will be destroyed. But I have fun with it, so I'm picking Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
All right. And with that, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull makes it through. All right. We have our last one. I am very sorry, Alex. Solo: A Star Wars Story versus Flash. I just found it hilarious that these two were up to.
But it is funny.
I just love that. So I'm going to start with Mara.
Well, he'll save every one of us. I love Flash Gordon. It is just a mess. It is. So I'm one of those people where I have to have either all of my foods in their quadrants on a plate and they cannot touch. And if they touch, I won't eat them. Or I like mush, where everything is mushed together in like this congealed little blob and it's disgusting looking, but I like it. That's Flash Gordon. That is my congealed blob of a movie. And anything with Timothy Dalton in it is going to be attractive to me. But man, I gotta say, I still have a couple issues with Solo, namely the color palette doesn't work for me, but bear in mind again, like because I have color differentiation problems, like I don't see colors the way you guys see colors, so that could just be me. But every time I rewatch it, which is a lot, I actually really have a fondness for it. Some stuff worked for me that didn't work for other people, and some stuff didn't work for me that did work for other people. So I'm kind of opposites on the things I love most about it versus the things that I wish were a little better about it. Flip-flop them from what you probably would expect. But I really do. Like, I don't love it, but I really, really like watching it. And as a scientist, I love the retcon of explaining why parsecs as time versus or distance versus time, or time versus distance, depending on if you want to talk about original versus new movies. But I love the way that they made that work. They made it work. And so I was happy they reconciled it for people that have been complaining about it. So yeah, I'll pick Solo.
Brian.
This is easy for me. Solo all the way. It's my third favorite Star Wars movie. I absolutely love it. It's one of those movies that if I see it on TV, I'm gonna stop what I'm doing and watch it. Like it's just so fun from the beginning to the end. Yeah, it's Solo all the way for me.
Marisol?
Interesting. It's an interesting matchup. I think that Solo, the look of the film has always bothered me. Not a fan. Just not a fan of oh my god. Film terms stuff. How dark everything is, you know, everything's backlit way too intensely. Never been a fan of that dusty look. It's not fair to Solo. It's not the movie's fault, but it's really difficult for me to watch and just not think of what could have been. And I think Ron Howard is a pretty vanilla substitute for Phil Lord and Chris Miller. And so I just always think about the movie that could have been. And I think about that when I hear certain lines in the movie and certain characters. It's not fair. It was always going to be kind of stacked against it in my mind. That being said, I think it's decent. But I think back to all the Star Wars movies, and it is the one that I think out of all of them, it's the one I think I remember the least about. Like it's the one that has the least moments that jump out at me. And Flash Gordon, yeah, a little band called Queen does the soundtrack to Flash Gordon. And Queen, if for those who don't know, Queen is maybe the greatest band of all time. So, so I actually listen. I actually rotate that album, as most movie nerds do. You rotate scores and soundtracks and stuff. Flash Gordon is one of the soundtracks that I rotate. Flash Gordon is pretty fun and ridiculous. And if you want to really measure it, maybe possibly not as well made of a film, a lot sloppier, a lot sillier, but more enjoyable to me than Solo Star Wars story. So Flash Gordon.
We're at 2-1. Adam.
I respect Marisol giving Flash, the representation he deserves in this tournament. I also, I mentioned it earlier, but like it's hard for me. Like I think, I enjoy the Masters of the Universe movie. I wish it was in this tourney personally. I that and the original Flash Gordon are very linked in my mind. In terms of feel, just the campiness, the fun, the simultaneously high and low stakes. But Flash Gordon, Marisol is absolutely correct. The soundtrack is so cool. Solo, I am, as I've admitted to Alex and Mollie on occasion, I am a fan of this franchise. And Solo, I think what's really obvious in hindsight, at least to me, is I think a lot of people unanimously at this point, like, Mandalorian's great. Like everyone, like you don't often hear people like, fuck that show. It just doesn't happen that often. Solo really, I think, set the precedent for Mandalorian to do its thing. And I think Solo, in a lot of ways, when I go back and watch it, it feels like a really promising pilot. And that's not a criticism of it. It just means like it was like a Star Wars novel come to life for me. Like I'd read these Legends novels of what Han did when he was younger. So there were all these things from those books that were kind of amalgamated into this script, which I appreciated. Solo is an interesting movie. I don't see it going the distance in this tournament, but I do like it more than Flash Gordon, even though I have a big soft spot for Flash Gordon. So my vote is Solo, But again, respect to Marisol for voting for Flash because it's a cool movie. If people haven't seen it, know your film history. Go see Flash Gordon. It did a lot of things. A lot of important things.
Tiff,
Oh, sure.
I'm not going to forget you this time.
Oh, thanks. So I'm going to pick Solo: Star Wars Story. I like that movie more than most people, it seems, a lot of the time. I came out of it was another Kingdom of the Crystal Skull thing, except I'm a huge Star Wars person, so I came out of it and was like, oh, that was fun. It felt like a Star Wars movie. I really liked Alden Ehrenreich. There were some things that didn't work for me, but I really enjoyed it. And then everyone was like, oh, Solo sucks. I'm like, damn it, another thing I can't talk about. But yeah, I think Alden Ehrenreich's great. I hope we get to see him again, honestly, in some capacity. I really like how weird Paul Bettany is in the film. I don't think Emilia Clarke necessarily works in her role, which is something that really kind of turns me off of the movie in a lot of ways. But I did have fun with it, that's enough for me. I enjoyed it. Star Wars is a tough minefield to navigate sometimes with the goods and the bads, but I enjoyed Solo.
All right, Alex.
I don't know what Taylor's talking about. Star Wars is a minefield? Nah.
It's fine. It's a great community. It's fine.
I mean, obviously, I'm going Flash Gordon, but Solo is. Oh, it worked so much better than it deserved to. I was going into it so concerned, and it also did so many things that I didn't want it to do, but it pulled it off. I remember going into the movie being like, God, I hope this isn't like the story of Han's crazy week where he gets his blaster and the Millennium Falcon in the Kessel Run. And that's exactly what happened. But they did it in such a way that I was like, oh, crap, I like it. Like, I love the line where he's telling some dude on Savareen, just did the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs. And A, he's lying, and Chewie calls him on it. And B, that guy doesn't care at all. Like, I love the idea that Han runs around bragging about that, and no one gives a shit. So they really did a lot of stuff. Though. Yeah, they did so many things like that where I was like, that's a lot of fun. I was worried about Alden Ehrenreich going in, and the second he started speaking, I was like, nope, he's great. It's far from my favorite Star Wars movie, but to me, even the worst Star Wars movie is a good time. So I still really like Solo. And I think it's probably just one of the most easily watchable Star Wars movies. If you just want to throw something on, it's just a fun time to have on in the background or whatever. So yeah, obviously I'm going with Solo, a Star Wars story.
And Mollie?
So I feel guilty because I don't think I've ever seen Flash Gordon.
We should. I haven't either. I'll jump on that with you. I haven't seen Flash Gordon. We should absolutely watch Flash Gordon.
Well, okay, then, yeah, I don't feel
bottle of
so
wine,
bad.
you definitely need to watch Flash Gordon.
Yeah,
I don't feel so bad now. But having said that, I do have my problems with Solo: A Star Wars Story. I think the first 2 or 3 times I saw it, I was like, I don't know if I like this. It really took a couple of watches to get me to warm up to this movie. I did really like Alden, but the movie as a whole, yeah, I couldn't get over the fact that I was like, what could have been with Lord and Miller?
I want to agree with Marisol there because I love Lord and Miller movies. So I was really excited for that.
Yeah.
That choice, and I was so bummed when they were removed.
Yeah.
But that's just another reason why I was like, this movie is going to be garbage and I'm preparing myself for it. And then it wasn't garbage, and I was like, okay, I walked out of that liking it.
Right. I wouldn't say it's garbage, but it's not my favorite Star Wars movie. But I can say that every time that I saw it, I liked it a little bit more, and that includes every time that I have to rewatch it to study. Like every time I watch it, I like it that much more. So it did grow on me, and I think it would grow on a lot of other people if they were to continue to watch it. But I understand people's problems with it. But out of these two, I'm going Solo.
Well,
It's Star
with
Wars
that,
fungus.
Solo, a Star Wars story, has made it through. Guys, we got through round 1 of the bracket. So let's have a look at what we've got.
What do we got
for
next week?
Next week, we will be going to the second bracket. We're going to go through all 8 round 1s first and then loop back. So here are the 32 movies that we will be going over next week.
Oh gosh, I'm scared.
We have... Oh gosh, I probably dropped that off. Hey.
Ooh.
Mask of Zorro. Yeah.
Drop that off. There we
Marisol
go.
got me really psyched for Mask of Zorro.
All right.
Oh,
Two
yeah.
Guns, 30 Days of Night, Ant-Man, Back to the Future, Batman, Beneath the Planet of the Apes, Deadpool, Ghost Rider, Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald, Guardians of the Galaxy, Priest, Hulk, Jurassic Park 3, Kick-Ass 2, Kingsman: The Secret Service, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, Pirates of the Caribbean, On Stranger Tides, Oblivion, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, Split, Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock, Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, Terminator 2, Judgment Day, The Shadow, The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies, The Mask of Zorro, Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, The Punisher, War for the Planet of the Apes, RoboCop 2, The Wolverine, and Wonder Woman 84. I'm gonna give you guys a little tease for some of the matchups
I'm
next
scared.
week.
I swear to you, if you put T2 against the Two Towers, I will find you.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Mm,
Does T2 have the Battle of Helm's Deep? I don't think so.
mm.
Oh, that's
Oh,
easy.
no,
That's
okay.
easy.
Oh no,
Okay.
Adam.
Oh god. Oh god.
Wow.
All right.
I think I.
Hold on.
Gives zero humor for this. No.
Lauren
Wow.
and Jesse are going to be back next week, right? I'm not going to be here.
And I'm
Wow,
going to
wow.
be a lot more loose-lipped. My true feelings are going to come out. I will have zero reason to hold back because like frontal lobe Mara will not exist because of oxycodone. Only amygdala Mara will exist, and amygdala Mara is a mean Mara.
I was seriously I'm not gonna lie. I was seriously considering I may have to change that, but
No, it was random. I can't be mad
it's
at
random. I'm like
But I
no.
will be anyway.
And now that I put that out there, I can't change it because it's out there. So like I can't change it. It's official now. So
Pretty brave being a continent away, Jacob.
Yeah.
Oh,
On an island.
I don't know why it's such a big deal. It's the Two Towers.
No, you're about to say with internet trolls, really.
Well, guys, that's next week's bracket. We hope you join us for next week. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be, I seriously think we're going to have to sell these Fuck You Jacob shirts. I really
Probably.
think we're going to have to try and get everyone a Fuck You Jacob. Because that's going to happen.
Oh man.
Everyone's just going to scream and yell at me. So, Molly and Alex, where can they find you guys online?
On Star Wars Explained.
Yes, that's a YouTube channel.
That's where we live.
All right, thank you so much for joining us on this stream. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having. This was fun, but also not fun.
That's fair.
I had a great time.
That is very
I
fair.
only had one.
A tagline for the show.
Yeah,
This is
I had
fun, but
one
also
time where
not
I was
fun.
mad. One bad choice.
Yeah.
Brian, where can they find you online?
You can find me on A Certain Point of View if you're into the Schmodown with Molly and Apocalypse movies.
Thanks, man. Thank you very much. Thank you so much
you.
for being on here. Marisol, where can they find you?
Not too many places, but when I do pop up, I pop up occasionally on Twitter tweeting about Schmodown. And that's at Marisol _Mariah, MIRIAH. I also watch a lot of movies and log them and write about them on Letterboxd. And I watch a little bit of everything, or not everything, but I try to. I'm watching movies. That's my point. That's the same as my Twitter handle. And you can also catch me in the Schmodown on the SEN network. I just won my #1 contenders match against Kevin Smith, so you can catch me next month, hopefully, trying to play for the belt. And we'll see what happens.
All right, yeah, you're absolutely gonna win that belt match. Like, you're absolutely gonna win that.
Well, if I score more points than the other person, then that is factual, Jacob.
All right, we are going. Thank you so much, Adam. Where can they find you online?
Other than my autobiography here, you can find me. That's my thing. The handle, Letterboxd and Twitter are my preferred platforms. I'm going to play JTE soon. I would prefer to beat him. I think I have a shot. And I'm doing a show twice a month now on Video Drew's network called Why Are We Like This? And the first episode went over quite well. We're going to do another episode this coming Saturday, so check it out over on Video Drew's channel on YouTube. It's fun. Last week, you can go back and watch it. We discussed the Twister ripoff Tornado starring Bruce Campbell and Ernie Hudson, which is a delightful little TV movie that you should check out for $7.99 on Amazon. That's all I got.
Thanks, man. We will see you next week. Thank you very much. And Mara, where can they find you?
Right outside your window. See, the thing is it's not like I don't know which one I'd vote for. It's that you're making me do it. And you can find me here next week. I really recommend tuning in. I really think you need to clip that out, that reaction from me, and you need to highly promote next week's show, because people are going to see a side of me that they won't like, and I don't like it either, but it's in there. Everyone has it. Everyone's a trapezoid, and it's okay. Also, that's my quote today. Everyone's a trapezoid. I'm also findable. I lurk around the internet, besides outside of Taylor and Jacob's window. It's your guys' fault for moving into a house. If you had been in an apartment, you'd still be safe. Also, Dan Merle has been asleep diagonally with his head where the feet should be and his feet where his head should be. So I'm gonna go take care of Dan Merle now.
Thanks, Mara.
Thank you, Mara. Guys, you can find me on the Schmodown this week. I played Bibiani, and I'm very excited. It's going to be a really, really great match. That's this Thursday, so make sure you check out the SEN channel and see me play William Bibiani. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's going to be really good. You can find all of our links and everyone else's links that was on the show down in the description if you want to find everybody. Thank you so much to everyone who tuned in and hung out with us. It's been a lot of fun. Looking forward to, as we continue forward, how many fuck you Jacobs we can fit into this bracket. It's going to be great. But until next time, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us, and we will see you next week.
See yous.